This is Our Time, the main news at this hour. Oleg Borisov in the studio. Hello. The foreign ministers of Ukraine and Poland will discuss security issues and increasing pressure on Moscow. Radosław Sikorski has already arrived in Kyiv. This was reported by the head of Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Andriy Sybiha. He emphasized the importance of cooperation between Kyiv and Warsaw, especially after Russia's recent drone attack on Poland.
Amid Russia's escalating terror against Ukraine and provocations against Poland, we stand firmly together. Today, we will hold important talks about our shared security, Ukraine's accession to the EU and NATO, as well as increasing pressure on Moscow. Andriy Sybiha, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs, on social network X.
In addition, British Prince Harry arrived in Kyiv on an unannounced visit. According to The Guardian, his Invictus Games Foundation team was invited to discuss new initiatives to support and rehabilitate the wounded. The ultimate goal is to provide assistance to veterans in all regions of Ukraine. The Duke of Sussex will visit the National Museum of the History of Ukraine in the Second World War and meet with combat veterans. Prince Harry will also hold talks with the head of the Ukrainian government, Yulia Sviridenko. One person was killed as a result of a Russian strike on Sumy. The Russians attacked the city with drones. Non-residential buildings and vehicles were damaged. The body of the deceased was pulled from the rubble. He worked as a security guard at a local auto repair shop. The Russian Federation's army also attacked Sumy region in the morning, launching at least 3 missiles at the area. In the Bytytsia community, 2 people were killed and 5 others were injured.
People were very frightened. Psychologists are working with them. An appropriate headquarters has also been set up on site, and all services have been involved. Unfortunately, due to constant alerts, the work of the State Emergency Service and other agencies involved in dealing with the aftermath is being adjusted according to the conditions we are working in.
1 person was killed, 2 were injured. Russian forces once again shelled the Nikopol district of the Dnipropetrovsk region. The Russians fired artillery at the Marinets community and also carried out a strike with an FPV drone. At night, Russian troops shelled the city of Kyiv, the suburbs of Kherson, with artillery. The strike hit a residential area. As a result, a fire broke out. The fire destroyed apartments and shop premises. 1 man was trapped under the rubble, but he was rescued. 40 Russian drones of various types attacked Ukraine last night. Air defense forces shot down 33 of them. The northern, eastern, and central regions of Ukraine came under attack. 6 drone strikes were recorded at 3 locations, according to the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russia and Belarus have begun large-scale exercises called Zapad 2025. However, the number of troops involved in the maneuvers is smaller than it was 2 years ago. This was reported by Andriy Demchenko, spokesperson for the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine. He recalled that in 2023, the Russian Federation maintained between 10 and 12,000 personnel on the territory of Belarus. As of today, there is no such strike group there.
Right now, not only Ukraine but also European countries are closely watching these joint exercises, the active phase of which began today. However, I can reassure you, as of today, we have not observed any activity toward the Ukrainian border. Fortunately, no strike group has been formed. Still, we shouldn't let our guard down. Andriy Demchenko, spokesperson for the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine, live on the marathon broadcast.
Because of the military exercises by Minsk and Moscow, Poland has closed its border with Belarus. Traffic has been suspended both for leaving and entering the country. On the night of September 10th, Poland was attacked by Russian drones, and some of them entered from Belarusian territory. My colleagues will continue covering this topic.
Officially, 13,000 soldiers are supposed to take part in the Zapad 2025 maneuvers. At the same time, Western intelligence agencies are reporting a figure of 30,000 troops. It is expected that during the exercises, planning for the use of Oreshnik ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads will be practiced, as previously stated by Belarusian Defense Minister Kremlin. By the way, according to investigative journalists, new military bases are currently being built in Belarus, and one of them may house the Oreshnik missiles.
The first base will be located near the village of Pavlovka, south of Minsk. Construction here began in June 2024, and as of September 2025, the construction site has reached over 2 square kilometers in size. Experts believe that the Russian ballistic missile system Oreshnik could be stationed here. A second new facility has appeared on the outskirts of the city of Gomel, less than 40 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Journalists suggest that this is a future military base, according to the publication Radio Svoboda.
Europe's concerns about the Zapad 2025 exercises are not unfounded. For example, at least 19 Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace on the night of September 10. The attack was described as an unprecedented act of aggression. After the incident, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk convened an emergency government meeting. He emphasized that the drones posing a threat were shot down, but this changes the political situation. In this regard, Warsaw appealed to its NATO allies to invoke Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty. It stipulates that member states can initiate consultations when the territorial integrity, political independence, or security of a country is under threat.
This situation brings us closer to open conflict than at any time since World War II. There is a full-scale war beyond our border, but in our skies, something is already happening that goes beyond mere provocations. And perhaps today we need to state this once again, very loudly and clearly. Today, Poland has a political enemy who does not hide their hostile intentions beyond its eastern border. Article 4 is just the beginning. We expect significantly greater support during the consultations. This is a confrontation that Russia has declared on the free world.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte emphasized that, in light of the Russian drone attack on the territory of a North Atlantic Treaty country, Article 4 was invoked.
The Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and condemned Russia's reckless behavior. A full assessment of the incident is underway. The Allies are determined to defend every inch of their territory. We will closely monitor the situation on our eastern flank, constantly keeping our air defense systems in a state of combat readiness.
By the way, some of the Russian drones entered Polish territory from the direction of Belarus, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He noted that Kyiv is ready to expand cooperation with its partners to reliably protect the skies from Russian attacks.
At least 2 Russian drones that entered Polish territory overnight used Belarusian airspace. In total, at least several dozen Russian drones moved along the border between Ukraine and Belarus and in the western regions of Ukraine, approaching targets on Ukrainian territory and, apparently, in Poland as well. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on Telegram.
In Minsk, however, the drones were called lost and it was claimed that they literally saved Europe. Supposedly, during the nighttime attacks, Belarus destroyed some of the drones and was the first to inform neighboring countries about them. At the same time, analysts note that Moscow had prepared the strikes in advance. Since June, the Russians have started using local operators' SIM cards in the Shahids, which allowed them to work out attack routes for strikes on Poland and Lithuania. Yulia Granovskaya for Freedom TV channel.
Japan has announced a new package of sanctions against Russia and its partners. The restrictions even affected companies from China, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, the Seychelles, and the Marshall Islands. The list includes nearly 50 companies and 9 individuals. All of them helped Moscow circumvent sanctions and finance the war against Ukraine. The UK has also imposed new sanctions against Russia, Reuters reports. 70 ships from Russia's Shadow Fleet have also come under restrictions. The blacklist also includes 30 companies and individuals involved in supplying military equipment to the Russian army. Let me remind you, earlier London also imposed sanctions against organizations involved in the deportation of Ukrainian children. The new UK Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, is making her first official visit to Ukraine, according to the British Foreign Office. She plans to meet with President Volodymyr Zelensky and announce new funding for Ukraine's energy infrastructure, according to the ministry. Cooper will also visit a government building in Kyiv that was recently hit by a Russian strike. In addition, the minister will personally meet with those affected by Russian attacks on residential areas of the Ukrainian capital.
I decided to visit Ukraine in the very first days of my tenure as Foreign Secretary because Ukraine's security is crucial to the security of the United Kingdom. I am confident that the UK's support is unwavering and stronger than ever, as we understand the long-term threat to security and stability that Russian aggression poses not only to Ukraine, but to all of Europe and to all of us here in the United Kingdom. Yvette Cooper, Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.